A day after the shooting, the Biden administration announced they would be rescheduling his trip to Austin. Of course, that was planned for today. He was set to deliver remarks at the LBJ Presidential Library, marking the 60th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act. The visit brings up questions over campaigning ahead of the November election. Joining us this afternoon, Niall Stanage, White House columnist with The Hill. Niall, thank you so much for joining us to give us some insight. We want to start with this. Of course, we've seen this one postponed event. Can we expect to see more rescheduled or canceled events in the future?
I'm not sure that we can, to be perfectly honest, because on top of that one postponement, President Biden is intending to go ahead with a campaign swing to Las Vegas tomorrow and Wednesday, where he's addressing the NAACP on Tuesday, Unidos US, a Latino group, on Wednesday, and has also another campaign event on the Wednesday. So he's obviously trying to thread the needle here, not going onto the campaign footing right away, but doing so very soon afterward.
Soon after the shooting at the Trump rally, we know Biden's campaign took down ads across the country. Talk to us about what do we know about why, and when could we expect to see those air again?
So I think, again, that is really an effort or a recognition by the Biden campaign that they don't want to be seen to be really banging the political drum too hard right after this attempted assassination of the former president. At the same time, I think we're obviously going to see the Biden campaign reluctant to go off the air for a protracted period of time. This is a week that was always going to be dominated by the Republican National Convention anyways. I would expect to see the Biden team go back up with its ads very soon after that.
You mentioned the convention there. We know lots of focus today has been on the former President Donald Trump being at the convention, making headlines there. What do we expect, though, as it relates to rallies and events in the coming days? What do we expect to see with security at those events?
I think we can expect to see security ramped up. Now, obviously, I've covered lots of rallies, including Trump rallies, including Biden rallies, and security has always been pretty tight, I thought, up until now. Now, it was a very striking lapse there on Saturday where this man with a gun appeared to get into an elevated position only about 100 or 150 yards from the former president. Clearly, there's going to be scrutiny on security. Clearly, we're going to see security ramped up further, tightened further around these rallies, even though in any democratic society, there's always a balance to be struck between personal freedoms and the security of public figures.
We know that investigation continues, but talk to us. You have, like you said, a history of covering these types of events in D.C. What is the feeling in Washington, D.C. right now?
I think the feeling is one of shock about what happened. I mean, this was clearly a historic event in a dark sense, even though it was not as catastrophic as it could have been. There is obviously fear about tensions in general being ramped up in the remaining months of this presidential campaign. We know it's a very polarized nation as it is. So I think there is an ominous mood around, even though obviously there is a more optimistic reading, which is that perhaps this could be an event that precipitates a more civil tone.
Really good insight. Niall Stanage with The Hill. Thank you so much.
Thank you.